Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. Between the borders of dream and waking, reason and chaos, there lies a world that feels both real and unreal, and this is where Kafka on the Shore begins. A 15-year-old boy named Kafka Tamura runs away from home on his 15th birthday. He leaves behind a cold, distant father and a life filled with silence and unease. His father, a famous sculptor, once told him a terrible prophecy that one day Kafka would kill his own father and lie with both his mother and his sister. That curse, echoing the tragic myths of Oedipus, becomes the dark wind pushing him away from home. Kafka sets out with only a small bag, a bit of money, and the voice of an imaginary companion inside his head, a calm, older version of himself whom he calls the boy named Crow. Crow is his protector, his inner voice, whispering strength when Kafka feels lost. Together, they travel south, toward a place unknown, toward the edge of something invisible. He arrives in Takamatsu, a small coastal town, where he discovers a quiet, private library, the Komura Memorial Library. There, surrounded by shelves of books and the scent of paper, Kafka finds a fragile sense of peace. The library becomes his refuge, a shelter from the outer world and from the storm within. The library is run by two people: Oshima, a gentle, intelligent man who hides his own secrets and serves as Kafka's guide through the confusing landscapes of both literature and life. And Miss Saeki, a beautiful, enigmatic woman in her 50s who moves like a ghost through the building's corridors. Years ago, Miss Saeki was deeply in love with a young man who was killed during student protests. His death shattered her world. Since then, she has lived half here, half in the past, frozen in time. She once wrote a song in her youth called Kafka on the Shore, a haunting melody about love, loss, and the longing for a place that exists beyond time. When Kafka first meets her, he feels an inexplicable connection. He begins to wonder whether she might be his long-lost mother. As he spends more time at the library, dreams and reality begin to intertwine. In his sleep, he sees Miss Saeki as a young woman, and in those dreams he experiences a love that feels forbidden yet fated, tender, tragic, and deeply confusing. Meanwhile, far away, another story unfolds, the story of Nakata, an elderly man who lives in a simple apartment in Tokyo. During World War II, when he was a child, something strange happened. On a school outing, Nakata and his classmates suddenly lost consciousness under mysterious circumstances. Weeks later, they all woke up unharmed, except for Nakata. He awoke with his mind blank, unable to read or write, and with no memories of who he once was. But he gained a gift, a supernatural ability to talk to cats. Now, in his old age, Nakata lives quietly, earning a small government subsidy and spending his days finding lost cats for people in the neighborhood. Though his words are simple, his perception of the world is extraordinary, almost spiritual. He moves through life with innocence, as if guided by something unseen. One day, while searching for a cat, he meets a dark and disturbing man named Johnny Walker, dressed like the whiskey mascot, but full of malice. Walker captures cats, kills them, and collects their souls. In a surreal and violent moment, Nakata kills him, an act that feels both horrifying and strangely necessary. From that point, the threads of fate tighten, connecting Nakata and Kafka in ways neither can comprehend. After the killing, Nakata meets Hoshino, a young, laid-back truck driver who takes pity on him. At first, Hoshino is just an ordinary man, interested only in baseball, women, and convenience store food. But as he travels with Nakata, he begins to change. Through the old man's simplicity, he starts to see beauty in small things, the rhythm of the road, the sound of rain, the mysterious order of the universe. Their journey becomes one of quiet transformation. Together, they search for a mystical object called the entrance stone, a stone said to open a passage between worlds. When the stone is turned, invisible forces begin to shift. Strange weather follows, fish and leeches fall from the sky, time seems to fold upon itself, and the line separating life from death grows thinner. Meanwhile, Kafka wanders deeper into his own inner forest, both literally and metaphorically. He camps alone, surrounded by the sound of wind and trees, guided by something he can't name. There, he meets figures that may or may not exist, a young soldier and a girl from another time, ghosts or memories, leading him to confront his fears. In his mind, he faces his father and, perhaps symbolically, kills him. But this act is not about hatred, it is about release, the breaking of fate, the end of inherited guilt. By confronting this darkness, Kafka begins to understand who he is. Back on the road, Nakata's strength fades. He feels that his role in this world is nearly complete. Before dying peacefully, he tells Hoshino that he must finish the task. He must close the entrance between worlds. After Nakata's death, Hoshino, once a simple man, takes on this sacred duty. He places the stone back in its rightful place, closing the portal, and in doing so, reaches a quiet kind of enlightenment. When Kafka finally returns to the library, Miss Saeki has passed away. But her presence lingers in the air, in her room, in the song she wrote decades ago. Kafka listens to that song once more, feeling the weight of everything he's seen, everything he's dreamed. He realizes that to move forward, he must forgive himself, his father, his mother, and the world. In the end, he chooses to live. He walks back into the forest, the same forest where his fears once chased him, but now with calm and purpose. The journey that began as an escape has become a return, not to a place, but to himself. Murakami's Kafka on the Shore is not just a story, it's an experience, a meditation on fate, loneliness, memory, and the power of the subconscious. It's filled with symbols, cats that speak for the unconscious mind, fish that rain from the sky as cracks in logic, and the library, a sanctuary of the soul, where knowledge meets silence. Through two parallel lives, the restless youth and the innocent old man, Murakami explores the human search for meaning. He reminds us that truth is never one-dimensional, and that what we call reality is only a thin layer covering the deeper dream we all share. In the end, there are no clear answers, only a quiet realization. Life is both mysterious and beautiful, chaotic and calm, and the only way to live it fully is to accept its strangeness. And perhaps, if we listen closely, as Kafka does, we'll hear the soft voice of the boy named Crow whispering inside us. You are strong enough to live. You are where you belong. And somewhere on that invisible shore between waking and dreaming, we might finally find ourselves at peace.